And good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Los Lobos de la Lucha. This is your weekly CMLL post show here at BC Wrestle Pod. My name is Mikey, El Jefe of BC Wrestle Pod, and tonight I do have Papa also Will, but he is currently handling some business off camera real quick, and he will jump in when he can. But welcome everyone to another exciting episode of Los Lobos de la Lucha. I'm excited to talk about this particular episode of Viernes Espectacular for CMLL. And the reason for that is because we are going to be talking about Fantastica Mania Mexico 2026. So, the stars of CMLL, New Japan, and we had a Stardom representative in this one as well, and I'm excited to talk all about it. Of course, it before we get into all of that and just jump straight into the matches because I don't want to waste too much time. Y'all already know the drill. We go live a good chunk of the week, and you can figure out what site you prefer to see us stream live or check out the edited YouTube videos that go up 24 hours later. We also have social medias at BC WrestlePod where we have report cards and previews and other things like that. We do have some merchandise at our store, bcwrestlepodshop.fourthwall.com. And last but certainly not least, we have a coffee bot that helps us pay for all the pay-per-views over a season. So in this case, we are looking at the summer season, which is going to include a lot of stuff, right? So I'm excited. This is going to be fun. And yeah, so without further ado, let's just get into it. So tonight, like I mentioned, we are going to be talking about the Friday, June 19th edition of CMLL Viernes Espectacular. Specifically, though, this is the Fantastica Mania Mexico show where we get some international crossover. So, without further ado, let's just get into it. So, we are going to kick things off with our first match that opened up Fantastica Mania 2026. So, of course, this is a match which saw the which was Mexico versus Japón, so Mexico versus Japan, and in our opening bout, we saw Los Viajeros del Espacio, so that is Valiente Jr., coming off of his participation in New Japan's Best of the Super Juniors, teaming up with his brethren, Max Star and Futuro, to take on the team representing Japan here in the form of Utani, Okamura, and Shoma Kato, a young lion out of Japan. Okay. So I feel like this match, I think, was fun towards the end, and I think by the end of it, I did enjoy this match. I will say though, for the first couple of beats, probably like the first 2 minutes of this match, I do think that everyone was trying to find their rhythm and was trying to find their chemistry. So it felt like a couple of our people in this match felt a little unsure with each other, and I was a little worried that the chemistry wasn't going to be there. But once we got past like the initial like feeling out stage, I do think everyone hit their mark and everyone did an incredible job. I think Shoma Kato has definitely come a very long way, and I really do like seeing him be able to kind of pick up and learn everything that is happening. So that is always going to be a fun one for sure. And I think he's improved so much. Of course, Okamura is our vet in this match as he's been doing this forever. And of course, we love Utani here. But I have to give it to the Viajeros del Espacio too. I think that it's been really fun watching them be able to be showcased more on the Viernes Espectacular shows. And I thought, again, once we got past that 2 minute mark of them feeling each other, feeling the feeling stage out, and kind of everyone kind of getting on the same page, I thought this was a fun opener and definitely was really cool to watch. Los Viajeros del Espacio do pick up the win here over Utani Okamura and Shoma Kato. I thought this was a really fun opening match. It definitely got the crowd invested for the night. And that would kind of continue on into our second match as well. So in our second match of Fantastica Mania, we have the CMLL Championship match here. So this is a title that the Amazonas division of CMLL and the roster of Stardom is, or in Japan in general, compete for this title. And this is a title that bridges the gap between Mexico and Japan. And in this title defense, of course, we have our champion after regaining the title back at Stardom's All Star Grand Queendom, I believe it was. Was it All Star Grand Queendom? I think it was. So India Sweet defending the title against Stardom's Rena. So Rena again is from Stardom. So that is the all women's Joshi wrestling promotion out of Japan. And specifically, Rena is representing the Hate faction. So that's one of the big heel stables over in Japan. Um, I really love the entrances for both, of course. You know, you have the pink demon of Rena, very love it. The aesthetic and everything was fun. India coming out looking great too. And I thought this was a really fun match for the time that we got. It was really fun to see the crowd be invested, of course, into India, but it was really fun to see Rena be able to play up to the crowd just a tiny bit. And I think Rena and Stardom are in general have been really cool about, starting to slowly open that relationship up more for their roster to come on over to Mexico and vice versa. So it's been really fun to see the girls from CMLL go over to Japan and then CMLL kind of get some of the girls for the weekend because Rena was participating in a lot of the shows this past weekend. So it was a lot of fun to see. This was exactly as I thought it was going to go. I definitely was very hard hitting and it definitely showcased both the what India had learned when she was in Japan, and as well with Rena having to be able to work that Yave style of lucha libre to be able to keep up. India does pick up the victory here. Again, this was the only Amazona match that we had of the evening, but I had a fun time with this one. It was really cool to see them put the belt on India after the match. And I thought both women did fantastic. And it was really, really cool to see anybody who wasn't familiar with Rena kind of get a sneak peek as someone who is still trying to get into stardom, and we are officially in our like second year now that we've kind of gotten ourselves figuring out how to watch the shows and everything. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Rena, especially as she's going to be participating this year in the 5 Star GP, which is the giant tournament for Stardom. And I'm hoping she kicks butt because I think Rena is fantastic. But also, shout out to India for retaining the CMLL Japan Championship. This is a really fun match. After this, we get into our third match of the evening, which was a really fun one, in my personal opinion. So, this, of course, is a trios match in which we had CMLL versus New Japan in this one. So, representing CMLL, we have 2/3 of Sky Team. In this case, it was Máscara Dorada and Neon, and they were teaming up with their brethren in Templario. So, Templario, no stranger to working with the New Japan Strong brand as well as the New Japan Dojo. And so these three took on the boys of Unbound Company, being represented here by Robbie X, the Bone Soldier, Taiji Ishimori, and of course the dual CMLL and New Japan representative in Mr. Titan. I personally really love this match. This is exactly what I wanted from these three. I really loved how fast paced this match was. Again, I will continue to say this every time I see Robbie X. I think he increases his stock, and I do think that he is awesome, and I love seeing him more. I like seeing Taiji. Taiji is one of my favorites over in New Japan. And of course, you can never go wrong with Titan, especially these three matched up with, Mascara Dorada and Neon and Templario. This is definitely the high paced match. And yeah, I had a blast with this one. I do think from this point on, the rest of the show definitely got into the swing of things. And again, I really, really enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. This had all the high, fast pace, high octane action that I wanted. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it because since we know that the Grand Prix is coming up in August, I would not be surprised to see if we see Robbie X or some of the New Japan folks in this match come back for the Grand Prix. I love it. It is fantastic. Máscara Dorada, Templario, and Neon would end up picking up the victory over Unbound Company. But again, I love it when Robbie X comes to CMLL because I think his offense is innovative. And this was a fun time. The crowd was really into this match. They were very loud for this match. And I really did enjoy this one. After this, though, we get into some championship. We get into our second championship match of the evening, which sees the CMLL Tag Team Championships on the line. Of course, we have our champions, Los Hermanos Chavez, which is made up of brothers Angel de Oro and Niebla Roja. And they were taking on New Japan and House of Torture stable in the form of Sonata and Dick Togo. Um, I Even though his insurance gear was low key, I love Sonata and everything that he does. He always finds a way to reinvent his character. And so he's coming out in these like very rectangular blocked out shades, which is hilarious. It's really also cool to see Dick Togo, somebody who has been wrestling forever and he's still muscled and in shape and still can go. So again, House of Torture is always going to be a fun time wherever they go, and this was no exception. And honestly, I wasn't sure if we were going to get like House of Torture shenanigans in the middle of this match. We kind of did, but not to the extent that we normally see House of Torture do shenanigans. And I will say that Los Hermanos Chavez, I feel like were also a pretty fun foil to Sonata and Dick Togo because they would also give their own shenanigans. I thought this was a pretty decent match. I will be honest, I kind of wanted a little more from this given the caliber of Los Hermanos Chavez and Sonata and Dick Togo. But I do feel like that this was a really fun match. And granted, everything that came afterwards, I think that this just went the right amount of time. And obviously, we don't want either Los Hermanos Chavez or Sonata and Dick Togo to get hurt, especially Sonata, since he will be participating in the G1 climax coming up here in a couple of weeks. So New Japan is probably wanting to make sure that he doesn't get hurt because if y'all remember our review, our post show last year for the G1, the whole entire tournament was plagued with injuries and things like that. So it was very unfortunate. So we're trying to keep people not getting hurt here. But Los Hermanos Chavez would walk out the victors, and they are still our CMLL Tag Team Champions, which I really, really enjoyed that. This match was a lot of fun. I do wish it went like a couple minutes longer, but other than that, I thought this was really fun. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see any of these New Japan stars coming back for the Grand Prix in August. After this, we get into a special mano a mano match, so one-on-one match, and this saw CMLL's Barbaro Cavernario taking on New Japan star ELP, also known as El Fantasmo, and this was also another fun match. But I think Barbaro Cavernario is always really fun to see in these kinds of matches going up against other people from different companies, which is always a good time. And I feel like ELP has always been somebody who works very well with their opponent and knows how to work the lucha style, being able to walk the ropes and do all the flips and stuff. I really do enjoy ELP. Um, Again, for those of you who don't know, it's been really fun to watch ELP come back into the ring. He was gone for a good chunk of last year after having to, deal with cancer, but now he's in remission and he's been back for the last couple of months. So it's been really fun to see him not lose a step with his time away. So it's been really fun to see him pop up on everywhere. Shoot, he was on AEW as I was watching tonight before I got on here. So I'm hoping to see ELP this weekend at Forbidden Door to see where that goes. But I thought this was a fun one. I really did enjoy this. And again, it's really fun when you get a wrestler from another company that knows how to work with the luchadors and also can do their own kind of uniqueness, like walking the ropes and doing flips and using the ropes as springboards. So I had fun with this one. Papo Oso, really quickly, how did you feel about this match between Barbaro and El Fantasmo?
It was fun. I have never heard of El Fantasmo. Never seen him. I thought this was super fun. I love Barbaro Cavernario, and so I knew it was going to be probably, at least, if nothing else, entertaining. So, but I have to say, I really enjoyed this match, even though, like I said, I don't know anything about El Fantasmo, but I really enjoyed him. I mean, I really did. I thought this was a pretty decent match. I thought overall, I was like, oh, okay. Because I didn't know what to expect. Because, I mean, I knew Barbaro was going to show out because he always does.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't, like I said, it's because I didn't know the other wrestler. All I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I don't know. There was, I liked it. It was good. I liked
Nice.
it.
Cool. Alrighty. Before we go on, though, I do want your quick thoughts, though, because I do want to make sure that you get your opinion. So I'm gonna go back really quickly, and I'm gonna have you just give us your quick thoughts. So,
Mm,
what are your quick thoughts on our opener
mm.
match of Valiente Jr. Max Star Futuro versus Utani Okamura Shoma Kato?
Okay, so I was very much Team Japan. I know that sounds really bad of me because I love my luchadors, but I freaking loved this combination of people. Because I love Utani. He's one of my new favorites,
Mm-hmm.
my absolute new favorites. And of course, Okamura, who I just freaking love. Shoma Kato, I wasn't familiar with, but loved. So I loved this match. And because again, I don't get to see a lot of the New Japan people. So when I do get to see them, it's really exciting. And this one was super excited. I was super excited for this one. And so I thought it was a darn good way to open the place. And I was kind of hoping that it would be a little later in the program, but that's okay. That's okay. But of course, our luchadors, I love all those guys. But
Right.
I was super Team Japan this time because
I
I was
love
like, oh my God, Utani, Ukamura, they put them together. I was like, ah.
anytime
But yeah,
they come together is always really fun to watch.
that was great. And I also love the watching the younger and the older wrestlers work together.
Mm-hmm.
It's super great. Loved it.
Loved it. Alrighty. So your next thoughts on the second match for the CMLL Japan title, India versus Stardom's Rena.
Anytime ladies on my screen, I'm here for it. This one was really good. I wasn't familiar with Rena either. I thought I was. Have I seen her before?
So at least to my knowledge, Rena really hasn't. So Rena is from Stardom, so that is the women's wrestling federation out in Japan, and that is a promotion we cover here at BC Wrestle Pod. But if my memory serves me correctly, I believe this is Rena's first time in Arena Mexico.
Okay. For some reason, the way she was fighting, it looked familiar to me. So that's why I was like, have I seen her before? I was like, and then my brain was just like, no, you haven't seen her before. This is new to you. But I'm like, but it really isn't. I was like, it feels, at least it didn't feel new. So I didn't really feel like, oh no, I don't know this person. So I'm gonna have to like, I already felt like I knew who she was. So I guess that's kudos to her. Because I thought, and of course, India Sui, I just love. Of course, my Amazonas. I love my Amazonas, and I'm always gonna be on the side of my Amazonas. So I was like, "Come on, girl!" But no, I like this one too. This was, and let me just say, as a general overlay note, I loved this whole evening. Like there wasn't. I don't feel like me. I did not enjoy a single match. I enjoyed every one of them, and so this one I wish would have gone on a little longer because just Amazonas. I just want to watch these girls beat the crap out of each other, plus adding the New Japan into the mix because that's a whole different style. And I just thought this is going to be amazing, and it was. And I just really wanted it to go longer. Oops,
Yeah.
sorry.
Again, I really love that Stardom sent Rena, somebody who hasn't been sent over, and I do like that Stardom is opening up their working relationship because usually they're pretty tight-lipped and they're very I don't stingy's not the word, but they are very particular about like working with other companies. But I love that CMLL and Stardom have kind of laxed the relationship a little bit because it's been fun to watch the CMLL girls go over to Stardom and then Stardom sending some of their girls over too. So and Rita had a really fun week. She participated in almost all the other shows outside of the Friday shows. She was on the Sunday one and the Tuesday one, so she really got some fun reps in leading in and out of the week as well. And for those of us that cover Stardom, we're hoping that Rena kills it in the 5-star Grand Prix. So the big Stardom tournament's coming up soon in July, so that's gonna be fun. Alrighty, next we kicked. So now I want your thoughts on this
Mm,
high-paced
mm,
match:
mm,
Máscara
mm,
Dorada Templario and
mm.
Neon versus New Japan's Unbound Company, being represented by Titan, Robbie X, and Taiji Ishimori.
Okay, so I haven't seen my baby daddy in a long time, and I watched him most of this match just because I can't. But then I rewound it and watched it again, and, and this one was super fun. I enjoyed this one. This was another one I wish had gone a little longer. I think it it felt. What am I trying to say? It felt like it was edited for time. Even though I know it wasn't, but it was funny. I felt like when they edit a film, they chop sections out, so it feels a little choppy sometimes. So it was a little moments where it felt a little choppy, but overall I loved it, and it was neat seeing Titan and Robbie X and Ishimori, who I love as well, by the way, and would like to see more of him. So this was an interesting mix over here. This Titan and Robbie and Ishimori. It was an interesting mix of three. And where are they all from different companies? I mean, I know where Titan, but like Robbie and I can't remember what Robbie is from. Where's he from?
So technically, all three of them. So of course, we know that Titan is CMLL, but he also has a contract with New Japan, so he's a
Right.
dual
Okay.
contracted. But Robbie and Taiji are also part of New Japan, so all
Okay.
three of them are in. All three of these guys are in a faction in New Japan called Unbound Company. So these three are in a
Got
faction
you.
together. So they're all from
Okay.
New Japan.
Okay. For some reason, I don't know why I didn't know that, but anyway, it doesn't matter. But it was neat to watch but of course I was on the side of my baby daddy because I can never go against I can never go against Templario. I just can't.
No, you
I
cannot.
just can't. But no, I really enjoyed it. Again, it was top notch. I thought, like, again, it could have gone a little longer, and I would have been perfectly happy with that. But I did feel that it was it felt kind of spliced together at times, and I was just like, okay. I mean, didn't hate it by any means, but yeah, I just could have gone a little longer, I think.
Fair enough. Alrighty. Next up, CMLL Tag Team Championship match. Angel de Oro and Niebla Roja defended the titles against New Japan stars Dick Togo and Sonata.
Okay, I am familiar with Sonata. I am not familiar with Dick Togo. And I cannot get past Dick to go at all. It's just like carry out. So I'm not familiar with him. I mean, I know these are all New Japan folks, but I'm not 100%. I'm not at all. Not even 100%. I'm nowhere did I even know who this guy was. So it's like on our CMLL side, of course, I know these guys, love these guys. I thought this was this is another one I felt was too short. Like the other ones, I felt could have been a little longer, but I literally felt like this one was too short. Like I think it should have gone on a little bit longer, or at least I feel like it should have gone on a little bit longer. And I don't know if they had to truncate it for time or what, but it felt unusually short. Excuse me. But I enjoyed it. And again, I know of Sonata. I don't think I've ever seen Sonata in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
The name sounds familiar. He looks familiar, but I don't know if that's just because I've seen him sort of like in promos or if I've
In
actually seen
other
him in the
places,
ring.
yeah.
So that was fun to watch some people I didn't know, and I thought they were pretty good.
That's fair. And so, fun fact, so even though it was like a one-time thing, we have seen Sonata, and like this is a while ago when we first started covering TNA. Sonata appeared on one of the TNA pay-per-views.
Mm, mm.
So because I think it was Sonata and Jake something that had a match at Emergence
Yes,
that one year.
that's what it was. I was like, I know I've seen him and I know the name, but I couldn't figure out I couldn't figure it out. But that's right. It was on TNA. That's right. I remember that. Okay. That's cool. That was neat. That was a flashback.
Right. You're just like, hey, so I do now. It's like I do remember it.
Yeah, I did. I was like, wait a minute. See, the whole time I was like, I know him because the name immediately. I was like, I know that name. I know that name. And then when I saw him in the ring, I was like, he looks familiar, and I just couldn't figure out where I had seen him from. And I was
Right.
like, well, maybe I'm just thinking, maybe I've heard a name similar to it, or I couldn't figure it out. I tried and tried and tried. And now you mentioned TNA. I was like, oh, that's right. That's right.
Right.
I
So
remember
then, of course, you gave your thoughts about Badbro and El
that. I
Fantasma.
love
So now we're
Barbara.
all caught up into, our semi-main event, which. So
Ah, the
this
good
is
arrows.
this right. You gotta love the Guerreros. So in a tag team match, this is the Guerreros, Ultimo Guerrero and Gran Guerrero taking on the Don Callis family in the form of Konosuke Takeshita and of course Hechicero. Um, I will explain everything that happened afterwards because that has to tie into what's going on in AEW right now. So
Ah, okay. Because I was confused. I mean,
I'm just here. Yeah.
can I also just say I love these cards, by the way, with the dragons.
Right. I was like, CMLL, your graphics department did the darn thing.
Seriously. So anyway, back to the Guerreros, who I love, by the
Right.
way. And I was so excited that they were going to take on Hechicero. And I think I have seen. Have I? Have I seen him before?
Takeshita has been here a couple of times before.
Okay, maybe
Uh,
I've seen him in passing, maybe, or he has wrestled on
he
CMLL before, right?
he has come down here a few times to wrestle. He
Okay,
also represents AEW when they send folks. I'm trying to remember. I don't think it was last year, but I think the year before. I think he's participated in a Grand Prix, and if not, hopefully we do see him in a Grand Prix though.
yeah,
So
seriously. I thought I had seen. Well, when Takeshita came out, I was like, I know. Again, it was like I know him from somewhere. Have I seen him wrestle before? Yeah, I mean, and I was like, yeah, which just because I'm old, so it just irritates me sometimes. Because I forget. I do. I see someone. I'm like, I think I know that person, but I can never remember where I know them from. Of course, Hechicero, everybody's favorite bad guy. Um, like, but yeah, this was a good one. I like this one too, and I love the Guerreros, and it was so great to see them in the ring doing their thing. I just love them. I think they're great.
this was a fun match, and I mean, Takeshita and Echiseto do win here, but again, because Takeshita is now a babyface in AEW after being ousted from the Don Callis family, Echiseto is part of the Don Callis family, And so Don Callis family be beefing with Takeshita. So that is why Echiseto beat up Takeshita afterwards. And Takeshita is participating at the AEW pay-per-view Forbidden Door this Sunday, going up against said Don Callis family in a 6-on-6 steel cage match. So that's going to be very interesting. And that's going to be a lot of fun too.
Okay. I was wondering, I was like, why did he do that? I was like,
Yeah, so it's AEW development and thus, so I'm glad they figured it out because I was just like, now I know Echiseto's been stuck in Mexico because of visa issues, as well as a couple other people. But I'm like, with Takeshita turning babyface, how we gonna figure this out? And sure enough, Don Callis is like, hey, beat up Takeshita afterwards. And that's what Echiseto did. I was like, good job, AEW. Continuity and workarounds. Even when people are stuck in certain countries. Alrighty, so the only thing that is left to talk about from Fantastica Mania this year is our main event, which is the Mexico retirement goodbye match for Tiger Mask. And so we talked a little bit about this last week, where our technical team felt a little bit like all the losers grouped together as one for a group project. And we ended up getting a really fun team up here because, of course, this is the team of Místico, Tiger Mask, and Blue Panther to take on the team of Averno, Black Tiger, and Volador Jr. I got to shout out a Tiger Mask like intro music. I'm like, this is so 80s synth pop, like Japanese city synth pop. And I was like, oh, I love this so much. I was like, I love this. I was like, an era gone by. I also really love that Mystico and of course Black Tiger, they were wearing like their gear was an homage to Tiger Mask, which was really fun to see. Um, Also, Averno just has me cracking up. I was just like, you're just such a bad guy, and I love it.
I love Averno. He's your other favorite bad guy. Averno is just trouble. That's what I love about him is what you get with him. You know what's coming. Some dirty dealings are about to happen somewhere because he's just low down and I love him for it. I just love him.
This was a really fun main event. Whereas last week I was like, last week's was fun too, but it felt like we were trying to figure out how to work together. But this is exactly what this is what last week should have been. But I get it because this is like this is the official Mexico retirement match for Tiger Mask. And so this worked out very well. This is really fun. And listen, let me tell you, every time that Blue Panther and Tiger Mask got into that ring, the way that this crowd popped, I was like, dang, y'all. I was like, they were so loud.
Well, I'm amazed. I mean, like Blue Panther looks like he's getting ready to retire too. But
seriously,
yeah, that was really cool though. Just shows you the respect for these guys, and what they do, and everything they've gone through, everything they've created. Everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just incredible. I just love it. It literally makes me emotional when things like this happen.
Yeah, it's just really fun, and it's really hard to critique it because it is a goodbye retirement match.
Yeah.
But this was really fun. Everyone played their part very well. I really did so of course, Místico, Tiger Mask, and Blue Panther pick up the victory. Before the match, I should say that they also gave like an honorary, like commemorative title to Tiger Mask to take home as well, which was really, really cool. And what I love seeing this, and this is kind of goes into the conversation, we could talk a little bit about it. It's just like everyone coming out at the end for the photo op, like everyone that participated in the show, including all the referees and stuff like that. I was just like, the summer in CMLL ends up being one of my favorites because we get a lot of these crossover shows between different promotions, and I'm just like, this is what the world needs right now, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I love it when different international promotions can come together and be able to do shows like this, and it just It makes me feel warm in my tum tum, as one of my favorite wrestling creators says.
That's awesome.
So, but yeah, that is our show for this week, and that is Fantastica Mania. So again, overall, I love it every year when we get Fantastica Mania to watch the stars of Japan and Mexico cross over with each other and just duke it out. And I look forward to it again next year. And I'm really excited because the summer for CMLL is going to see them cross over with a lot of different promotions too. And like I said, leading into this show, we got the announcement that the men's Grand Prix is happening Friday, August 7th. So would not be surprised to see some of our New Japan talent that was on this show pop in to represent Team World. And so that's always going to be fun. We have a couple of CMLL and New Japan stars from tonight that will be participating this weekend in San Jose for AEW's pay-per-view. So again, crossovers are great. But we are going to review what has happened. We are going to go over what is happening this Friday because, again, I'm going to be on vacation next week. So we're going to review this upcoming Friday's and next Friday's show after I come back from vacation. So you get another double header, which I'm like, ugh. But it's going to be fun nonetheless. So this Friday, there's a lot of interesting things happen. So we're kind of back par for the course, back into our regular scheduled programming. Um, and I am 100% behind this. And there's some interesting matchups happening here. So, kicking things off this Friday in our first match in a relevos a una caída, so one fall, we have Hijo del Pantera and Pantera Jr. taking on Infarto and Cerebro Negro Jr. Then in Amazonas action, we have Tessa Blanchard and Gata Negra taking on our girl Persephone and Keira. So I'm like, yes, Persephone. I'm so happy to see you once again. Persephone is a busy girl. She's fighting in AEW this week, and then she's gonna be back in Mexico next week. I'm like, you go, girl. Then in an evento oh wait, sorry, I skipped a match. Tercera lucha, so our third match. The Dragons are back, y'all. So Dragon Rojo Jr., Dragon de Fuego, and Dragon Legendario are taking on the team of Barbaro Cavenario, Villano Tres Jr., and Hijo del Villano Tres. So I'm like, all right, Sergeant Peppers, how we're gonna step it up from last time. Like, I am interested. Anytime I see the Villanos now, I'm like, all right, which Beatles inspired thing we gonna pull out this week? It was like first it was the top hat, then we look like we're all in the yellow submarine.
Who
like,
knows?
what are we doing next?
I know.
We had a whole guitar. I was like, this is gonna be insane.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get into our evento especial, which is going to see the team of Star Junior, Shell Hua, and Star Black taking on, a Galeon Fantasma. So that is Zandokan Jr., Defunto, and Furia Roja. So that should be fun. In the Lucha semifinal and relevos, I'm actually really excited to see this match. We have the team of Flip Gordon and Titan taking on Hechicero and Volador Jr. I'm like, ooh, this should be a fun match. And then in the main event, because I still think that the champions are going to retain, but this matchup makes me believe more that there is a possibility that the Ring of Honor titles can be moved. But in the main event, a lucha estelar por el Campeonato Mundial de Parejas, ROH. So for the ROH tag team titles, of course, we have our champions, the Beast Mortos and Sammy Guevara, taking on the team of Místico and Máscara Dorada. I think this is going to be a high flying, crazy match. I'm excited. And this is the matchup that I actually be like, you know what? I can see those titles moving to Místico and Máscara Dorada since they are allowed to wrestle in the United States. And so I don't know. Regardless, it's going to be a good match, and I'm looking for it. But yeah, so that is happening this Friday. And that brings us to the end of our CMLL show. So overall, Fantastica Mania was a really fun event. I'm sad that it is over, but I'm looking forward to whenever we have it next year. Again, we got the Grand Prix coming up in August. One other thing that I'm excited for is that we don't have to wait a whole nother year for CMLL and New Japan to team up for another show because during Fantastica Mania, they announced that New Japan and CMLL will be coming back together in November here in Mexico for Lucha Kingdom, which is a new event that they are deciding to put together. I'm like, yo. I was like, yes. So we get to see CMLL and New Japan duke it out once more in November. So it's like, we are spoiled with Lucha Libre goodness here right now. So this was a really fun show. I am sad that it is over, but Will and I got to get up on out of here. But thank you so much for tuning in. Again, programming note, there will be no live shows next week as I will be on vacation, if we want to call it that. But we will be back in 2 weeks to cover 2 episodes of CMLL. So we gonna strap in, kids. It's gonna be a fun ride. But until then, from all of us here at BC Wrestle Pod to you at home, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will catch you later for our TNA post show this Friday. But until then, sayonara, adios, and until next time, peace.